What's going on, YouTube? It's Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm here to go over the 1,500 mile, well, more like 2,000 mile review now, since I recorded this video last week and then it did that autofocus thing where it did it when I had my last Blackwing video. And I found out my camera lens was cracked, so I had to buy a new camera lens, so I did not edit that video. I normally put out a video regardless after I shoot it, but this time I'm like, I can't give you guys a quality product like this, so I had to order a new camera lens and wait for it to get here $1,000 later. So yeah, I'm here to go through this review again. But this Prius, 2026 Prius Nightshade Edition, and I got the plug-in hybrid version. They don't call it a Prime anymore, it's just the plug-in version, which I don't know why they changed it up. I like the sound of Prime, and I put it in my hashtags in the video. But Toyota made a striking looking Prius. In general, I hate Priuses. Absolutely hated them. Every generation except for this one. I think they're ugly, they drive very slow. But this Prius ain't like the Priuses of yesterday. They put some swag on this one, pardon the dirt. You see this snow out here, and don't say I didn't wash my car, because you see it's water out here too, because it's been raining all day, so shut up about that. But the Nightshade Edition got the black trim on here, got the pinstripes on here as well, and huge shout out to Jim White Toyota in Ohio for selling me this car. We got it from Victory Toyota in Canton, Michigan, who was marking it up $5,000, which is a shame for a Prius. I would never pay markup on any car that's not a special car. But the Prius, this car is slick. And I see a lot of people asking, well, people are asking me like, is that a Lamborghini? I'm like, dude, how much money you think I make? Hell no, this ain't no Lamborghini. But that's just a testament to how good this car looks. Striking looks from, especially the front, it looks pretty good. So this Prius, I traded in a Blackwing for it. Yeah, stuff happened, went from a Blackwing to a Prius, but I have no regrets. Why? Because I got a Miata as well. So this Prius has been great for me. Gas mileage, I got 3 fill-ups in almost 2,000 miles, which is great. I spent less than $50 on a tank of gas, or on those tanks of gas, which it only has 10 gallons in here. So the weather here in Michigan has been extremely frigid for like the last month. So unfortunately, since I bought the car, it's been like 15 degrees every day and driving through a lot of snow. So I plug it in every day, and I've only been getting like about 25 miles per day on my charge. But yesterday was like the first day that cracked 40, and I got well over 30, probably closer to 40 miles on that one charge. I actually made it throughout my day, and I was able to go to the gym at night and still, well, I ran out of charge on that, but that was about a good 40 miles, so that's impressive, only to be at 40 degrees, and I think it's going to get better as it gets warmer. But my thoughts on this car so far, driving through snow, you see, it's been warm for a couple of days, and we got snow hills behind me, but these tires are booty cheeks. Like these tires in the snow, horrible. Even when getting on it hard, like they squeal, and that's because these tires are tuned more so for efficiency and not grip. Thankfully, people are like putting wider wheels and sticky tires on this, so I can upgrade that if I want to. Not sure if I want to, because at the end of the day, this is still a Prius. But who knows, man? I might just do it, because I'm thinking about doing some modifications, and I might lower it. I think that'll make it look better. That might be where I start. I don't know if I want to get wider tires and ruin the efficiency, but who knows? Maybe we'll get there, as if I get to love the car the longer I have it. It's not a manual, so you know I'm a manual elitist, and I bought an automatic, so that says a lot about this car. So I got my windows tinted, ceramic, 35% the windshield, no, 55% the windshield, 30% all around. So this has been a popular car when people coming up to me asking about it. I've had more people come up to me than just about any other car, minus my plum crazy Hellcat. And that's crazy, because I had ZL1s, SS1 Elite, GT350, and more people approach me about this car, because it's an attainable car, it's a practical car, it's a striking looking car, it looks great. So some things going on with it. We have a recall that's about to happen. So I believe this recall is going to launch like March 26th, March 29th. The rear switches on the door handle is like electronic switch. You push it, the actuator releases the door, and you can pull it open. So the way it's designed right now, water can get up in the switch and it'll open the door while you drive. So they're going to do a rework to that, and it's going to be a recall so we can get that replaced. I think there's one phase on it already, but I'm going to wait for the phase 2 to come out and get that recall done. Up in the rear, this car is practical. It's not as practical as I would think it would be, being or should be, being a hatchback. But I got a couple of backpacks back here, and the sloping roof design kind of eats away at the practicality. But I can do my 2 or 3 backpacks. Got a little bit of room to spare, but it's not the most practical back here. Let's go on to the back seat, where surprisingly I can fit, because this is a small car. I got more space in the rear seat than I had in my Cadillac. Wow, I got all this stuff in the car. Tablet, somebody could have broke my window. But getting on in the back seat, sitting behind myself, am I gonna whack my head? Don't wanna mess up. Just came from the salon. But I can sit behind myself. My knees barely touch it, and I'm 6 feet tall. Got the double pane sunroof to let the light in so I don't look just like a speck back here. So it's roomy, seats are cushy, comfortable. Can fit 3 people back here, and the person in the middle gonna have to be pretty skinny. And most reviewers, I did have to watch reviews. I normally don't even watch car reviews since I make them myself. Don't want to have like anybody else's influence on my original thoughts. But the headroom back here is a little bit cut out. I do have like an inch of headroom above me. But back here is not a whole lot going on. We do have a couple of USB-Cs and an outlet. It's like a home outlet. What do they call those things? Where's the top of it at now? Oh, there we go. No vents back here. Bummer summer. But let's go on up to the front seat. I do like these wheels that come on the Nightshade edition. The 19s are going to be a little bit less efficient, but they just look good. And I can handle losing that kind of mileage. It's like 4 miles per gallon or 4 miles per charge. Whatever it is. Nightshade is also going to have the gray stitching in the seats. I do wish it did have the red ones that the other Priuses do have. And this is an XSE version, which is like the mid-trim. Not all the bells and whistles, but most of them. Nice size steering wheel. Let me turn the car on. Storage in a lot of places. What are they doing? We got a secret compartment down there, which I probably won't put anything down there ever. Got a DC outlet right there. 2 USB-Cs. This car does have heated seats, not ventilated seats. You got to get the XSE Premium to get that. And one thing I don't like about the automatic starter, so you do have an app on here. The key fob be a little bit finicky, but I found out it's just at my house where it is, because the last video I did make, I was trying to like step away from the car. The key fob actually worked, but I always have a problem with these Toyota key fobs to get the automatic start working. But thankfully, since I own this car, I got the app, and the car warms up by itself. Well, it's an automatic starter. I let it warm up in the garage, but being that it's in EV mode while it's warming up, unless it's like 0 degrees outside, which I have experienced, the engine will run. But warming the car up in the EV, the car doesn't get that warm. So it's almost like I should just jump in the car and drive it to get warmer. And the heated seats do not turn on while you have the remote start going. The heated steering wheel will turn on, but not the heated seats. And I think that kind of sucks, because the Lexus app, it'll let you adjust the heated seats when you do the automatic start in the Toyota app or the Lexus app. But this is a Toyota. I think they just took away a feature like that because it's a Toyota. Another thing I did notice, if you don't have at least 30% charge or gas, I guess at least 30% gas and a combination of a charge, the car won't automatic start or do a remote start, which kind of sucks, because I'm like, man, I want that car warm when I get in it, but it just won't. So you got to be mindful and fill it up at least a quarter of a tank, or more than a quarter of a tank. Jeez. So let's talk about the efficiency for just a moment. So my MPGs are going to be like out this world, just because most of my driving is on the full battery charge. But let's take a look at this cluster up here. What are we working with? So on this tank, I already got 406 miles on this tank, and I still got 5/8 of a tank left. So I can get like 800 miles on one tank of gas. Mind you, most of that's going to be the electric motors running, but that's great. So once it warms up, it's going to be even higher, because that's in brutally cold weather. I had one warm day of 40 degrees where I got a decent charge. So, and the car also takes about 11 hours to charge. So when I get home, I charge it overnight. It's at 100% in the morning. So no gripes about that. So let me see what the miles per gallon would be of this tank. I got to figure out how to read kilowatt hours, because that doesn't mean much to me. I got to figure out how many kilowatts the battery is and do the conversion. But I'm going to switch it over to the hybrid mode. It's going to convert it to miles per gallon. I'm averaging 100 miles per gallon, which 99.9 is the highest it goes. so it's not going to record anything over this. So yeah, I'm getting just great miles per gallon. and I do the hand calculation as well, but I won't be able to attest for the or account for the EV mileage, but it's all right. Basically it's an EV to me. On my first drive video, I made a grave mistake in telling you all that I was driving in B mode. Do not do that. That's for downhill driving. It stands for braking, and I appreciate the couple of people that commented about that. Don't drive it in B mode. I thought it was like a regenerative braking drive mode, because once you ease off the accelerator, it feels like the engine, or since I'll be in EV mode most of the time when I'm doing that, it feels like it's doing like the regenerative braking, which it does do that, but you're not supposed, that's not what that's intended for. I think it would be great if that's what this mode was for, but that's not what it's for. These seats, mad comfortable. I have no complaints about them whatsoever. The bolstering of them is pretty good as well. And also the audio. So I don't have the up-level JBL audio system in here. I just got the base audio system in here, in which I normally almost always get the best audio that a car offers, but not in this one because it wasn't available on this trim, and this car was very difficult, few and far in between. But the base audio in here is not bad at all. It is it's crisp. It's better than the JBL system in my GR Corolla that I can recall. The only thing is the volume doesn't get loud. So the fidelity is good, but it just doesn't get loud. So riding around with the windows down in the summertime, I'm gonna need to roll my windows up and turn the AC on if I want to have my experience with my audio. A concert up in here, concerto, it's gonna be lacking with the windows now. Also, these double pane sunroof up here, those don't open. That's just for show. Let some light up in here, which I enjoy. I'd rather have, well, I wish it did open. I'll just say that. This wireless charger, in the forums and Facebook groups, I see a lot of people complain about it, but I find this wireless charger to actually be useful. So on my 30-40 minute commute to work, I can get about at least 15% charge on here. And I started to complain about it at first because I was like, damn, this thing ain't charging at all. But there's a button in here. You can turn that thing off. And I was trying to charge it with it off, because normally I just look at the screen to see if it's charging or not up in CarPlay. See, we got no green there. So we're going to go down here, press that button, turn it on. It's charging. We got the green charging arrow right there. Another thing, this LED that goes across the whole dash, I thought it was ambient lighting, so I couldn't wait to change it, because I'm like, this blue is out of place. But this is more so of a safety feature. So when the car in front of me takes off, this starts to flash, like it pulses at me ever so gently, just letting me know to go and pay attention. It's a lot of safety features on this car. I wish this were a color thing. Hang that up, because I'm making a video. Another safety thing on here, the cross traffic alert. Front cross traffic, when you're pulled up to an intersection and about to go out, it just lets me know, and it beeps as well. And that setting doesn't stay over ignition cycle. So every time I would have to change that. And if you guys have seen any of my Toyota reviews, full Toyota reviews on other cars, I like to drive in which mode? Nope, wrong screen. But when I do drive, I drive in this mode to see where the energy's coming from. Oh my God, I gotta wait for this to hang up. God the mighty. About 2 minutes later for that shit to stop ringing. So going through the cluster, which some people complain about the visibility of the cluster and the steering wheel. Like, this car for me and my body is totally fine. Like, yeah, the steering wheel does cut off a tiny smidgen. Like, so my actual eyes see like something like this. So there's no information there, so I don't mind it at all. So we're all good there. But up in these screens, it irked me that I had to go through the manual to see what a lot of these functions are. And I'm not going to spend too much time, but a lot of these features that I feel could be in the infotainment system is in this smallish cluster up here, which, like, these acronyms, I have no idea what most of them mean. Like PCS, you can figure out some stuff, but we do have other options like PKSB, I think is parking something, where it is RSA, rear safety assist, possibly, but this one definitely. DRCC, no idea what that is, but if you go to the menu, it'll break all this stuff down. Like, this is something you would not figure out on your own. So in-depth menus with the safety features and some of them not being able to turn off, And this thing right here monitors if you're paying attention. I think I keep that turned on because I wanted to like let me know if I look tired, which when you start driving with one hand like a G-Auto, pulling one of these just driving, like you're going to be blocking the camera. It's going to put up a notice in the cluster like, hey, we can't see you. So yeah, you're blocking yourself. So maybe I should disable it, but I kind of like keeping it on because on road trips, I like to know when the car thinks I look tired. That's just me. Even though I'm going to just make the trip anyway. I'm not stopping unless I got to get gas. So I just wanted to know when I'm looking tired or drowsy, when it thinks I need to pull over. So I be checking like, I got bags under my eyes. Like, what's going on? And that's about all I got to say about my first 2,000-ish miles of the 2026 Prius XSE plug-in hybrid front-wheel drive. So this car is, I think it's the ultimate daily driver when it comes to efficiency and fun. Some people will argue the Honda Civic. Honda Civic hybrids ain't getting 99 miles per gallon plus like I am in this. But this car is fun as well. And normally I don't give Honda credit, but that Civic hybrid is good. Y'all know why not. OG subscribers know why I don't like Honda at the moment. And they don't like me either. And I don't like them because they don't like me. But this Prius is the ultimate. It's fun to drive, actually. Surprisingly fun to drive for what it is. And the tire chirps and the lack of grip in these tires makes it a little bit more fun. Now having front wheel drive dynamics, and this car is actually, it does a little bit of lift off oversteer as well. And these front tires, understeer is a little bit underwhelming. That's just the nature of front wheel drive cars. But this car is great. So no regrets so far. Had this been my only car, I couldn't have done it because I need a manual. Thankfully, I got a pair of cars where I can do my daily commute in this car if I please to, and I got my Miata for my all-out fun car. So that's where we are at this point in the channel. Highly recommend one of these Priuses. You can save like $5,000 if you don't get the plug-in version. I like the plug-in version because for my daily commute, I don't have to get gas. If it were warm outside, I probably wouldn't have had to I still would probably be on my first tank of gas, maybe my second tank, but since it's been extremely cold, like teens and single-digit weather, like my EV range kind of took a huge hit. So now that it's getting warmer-ish outside, that should increase. And I can't wait till the summertime to where it can really be good, to where I can probably have like 50% at the end of the day. That'll be greatly appreciated. So if you got any questions about this 2026 Prius, let me know. Any videos you want me to do, also let me know. That's what I'm here for. We're going to go on this ownership journey with this Prius and do a few comparisons because, yeah, it's a lot of cars in these groups, and just do like regular car reviews. Kind of like how I didn't start that way. I started with a Camaro, but we're going to compare it to some of its competitors, and we're still going to have the other reviews on here as well. Unfortunately, I lost all the original video. Had my daughter in there. She had her thoughts on there too, but yeah, it is what it is. So at least now this new camera lens can focus. This thing a little bit heavy and bulky, but it's clear, it's crisp as well. So I'm getting used to this as well. So if you guys got any other comments, just let me know. And until then, you guys make sure you drive safe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.